Warning, this Bleach podcast features many spoilers from the upcoming anime arc 1000-Year Blood War. So if you've not read the manga or you do not want to hear spoilers for the upcoming arc, viewer discretion is advised. What is up, you guys? Welcome to the second episode of Bleach Boys, kind of, parentheses.
Bleach Boys!
Where we last left off, middle of the Bount arc, and Ichigo just got his ass handed to him.
Pussy.
By the Mohawk Bount, which I believe his name is Koga. I'm just going to go ahead.
Oh, his name was Koga? Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
going to go ahead and pull that off the top of the dome.
He's got the red beard and everything,
yes.
right?
We were placing bets last time on who was going to come save him.
Oh, that's right.
I don't. Did we say Hitsugaya?
So in hindsight, there's only 4 that show up, and it is the lieutenants, the 4 lieutenants. Okay. So there is Wabisuke guy, 69 guy, Rengiku, and the guy from Kenpachi Squad who doesn't like being ugly. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Maki.
No, not Maki. Not Maki.
Yamichika.
Yamichika.
Was not anywhere close to that.
So that's where we left off.
Yamichika.
All right, so I'm gonna hit you with a couple of. There's 4 different fights going on at this point. There's only 3 different fights going on at this point because Yamashika, whatever the fuck his name is, he dips immediately.
Oh,
he's like not even part of this first little part, and we'll get to that later.
Motherfucker.
Well, my bet's off then.
Fuck. So spoiler alert. And in case you guys didn't know, the mod souls are a big part of this arc because they're introduced into the Bounts, the whole thing. The transforming mod soul, you know, the guy who looks really weird, looks like you would probably dress when you're older.
The top hat
turtle.
Dude? Is it the top hat dude?
Yeah, the top hat dude. Thank you, Jose. When he transforms, he gets all of that person's fighting abilities.
You kidding me?
That seems really good.
That's Is there any downside?
Because he transforms into Renji at one point. Like, they're getting asses kicked. He's with Rukia and Orihime, and they have to fight about, and they're just like, that's the worst squad you suck with.
Go ahead.
Let me just ask my question first.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's going to be a dumb question, so you probably
if someone was hella salty, would he also acquire their saltiness? Say
no,
someone would
not.
just
He gets their
disrespect them.
fighting abilities.
Disrespect. What if they get stronger with their saltiness?
He
jump in the
I'm
ocean.
just curious.
If it's the Hulk, he gets their fighting abilities. It's just how it works, okay? So we're just going to move on from that. We immediately after that get the Mohawk guy, Koga, who we now know. We get his flashback. Everybody's been waiting for it.
Oh, he's going to die.
We get his story here. And Kariya, or as they pronounce Kariya. Yeah.
You got to say it like, ooh.
He comes to him, and Koga's living on his own. He's having a grand life. He's like a farmer guy. He doesn't want to be bothered. Kariya comes over, and he wants him to teach a newfound Bount named Cain. Everybody remembers Cain, right?
Which one's Cain?
Vaguely,
Lovable guy named Cain. You don't need to worry about
Cain
him.
and Abel.
Cain isn't there. Cain has never been there.
So the Mohawk guy basically is like, yeah, I guess maybe, but he needs to be proud to be a Bount. And Kariya's like, hey, don't worry. I wrote a book on how to summon your doll. So it should be really easy for you to teach it to him. And he gives Mohawk guy the book. He's like, here you go. You train him. And tells him to...
This is a weird setup.
It is a weird setup. It is weird. So Koga gives him the book. Okay. And he's like, here, you need to learn this book, but don't attempt the summoning. He's like, whatever you do, don't attempt the summoning.
Oh, fuck. I know where this is going.
He'll do it for him because it's dangerous. And he's more powerful because he has a doll. You know, he's got it set up. But of course, Cain does the summoning by himself.
Cain.
Rip.
Cain.
So, you know, it's successful. He gets a doll, and it's like a little green little guy. Like, looks like I think almost like a little salamander. And he's like, oh, here. It's like, we're going to be so cool. We're going to do something. And the doll is basically like, yeah, I'm not doing anything for you until I see your powers. And he's like, well, I don't have any powers.
No.
So
Cain!
He got killed.
Something happens. It zooms out. We don't really get to see. And Koga and Kane kind of reenact the Iron Man Spider-Man scene where Cain basically turns the dust in Koga's arm. And
Mr. Koga,
yeah,
I don't feel so good.
So someone who wrote that movie, they stole that from the Bount arc. So,
wow.
So the brothers.
They fucking jacked that shit.
They've been watching.
They love the Bount arc too.
Yeah, they're men of culture. It was an homage.
yes.
So I thought that was very funny. It made me laugh when I saw it. It was sad because he died, but I laughed because that's the Spider-Man.
That's the Spider-Man thing.
That's straight up the Spider-Man scene.
Oh no.
You find out. All right, we're moving on. When a Bount feasts on a living soul, it boosts the power of all Bounts.
Oh,
okay.
Son of a bitch.
Because of the multiplier effect is what they call it.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
It's not a coven?
Avi.
Yeah,
no,
we knew about Cain.
Doesn't say anything.
And we knew about the multiplier effect.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch it in our previous
previous
non-existent episode.
So, I don't remember if anybody guesses, but Wabisuke guy is the guy that saves Ichigo. He
Really?
shows up,
Izuru? I
which
don't
is
think
weird
I thought it was
because they don't
Rangiku.
ever really react or like they don't interact.
Yeah.
I was gonna think it was gonna be Yamichika.
Yeah,
'cause
it
they're
should have been.
sassy.
makes sense.
It should have been Yamichika or Rangiku because they
Yeah,
they can go together. But it's the Wabisuke guy that saves him. And let me just say he is OP because
Izuru?
Doesn't he
Yes.
do the weight thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my
because
god, that makes
he
sense.
is one of the few of the Shinigami who they've shown his Shikai and its power, so they can actually use it.
Oh,
That makes a lot of sense.
So he is very good in this fight, and he basically demolishes. He's like, he starts fighting the metal bitch, and like, I'm just multiplying your weight. Now you can't move.
That's right.
And Koga is like, all right, we're just gonna dip. It's like, it's been fun, and he leaves them with one little nice note. Don't feel like you have to rush your life. There's no shame in cherishing the journey, and then he dips.
Kawaii.
Because Cain, the whole reason we had the flashback with Koga is he feels bad for Cain. And he's like, why do I always have to see these young men throw their lives away? And he kind of sees that in Ichigo, and that's when we get the Cain flashback.
Didn't he full out almost murder Ichigo?
Yeah, oh yeah, hell
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
It really feels bad.
Hell
It
yeah.
still feels bad. Yeah.
It's 'cause of the
He's just
multiplier
giving the
effect.
moral high ground, like, hey, maybe don't be an asshole.
Yeah, take it slow. Use a cane to walk
Yes.
where you need to go.
So we switch over to the Rukia fight, and she
Not
is
even
fighting
acknowledged.
the chick. Her doll is like a sword attached to like a fan. That's like her
oh,
doll.
yeah.
She's fighting her. The guy who got forcibly made to take the basically steroids shows up, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to fight her. And she's like, no, I'm doing it. And then he basically tells her to fuck off, and she dips.
Right now.
So now Rukia and gang are fighting this new guy who just showed up. And Rukia immediately gets taken over by his Bount. Almost in an instant.
Wow, rookies suck.
What's his
Yeah.
Bount again?
It's like this little seed, like a little flower seed, and it
Hot.
basically goes into your chest, and then it takes you over, and you're like a slave. And multiple times, he was like, "Oh, I can make her do whatever I want." It's like, okay,
Oh.
my man. And he,
Sam goes from laughing audibly at a person's death to being like, "Hey, plant sex, fuck yeah."
So he doesn't ever actually do anything sexual, which I thought was a little weird. But
There's probably fucking
With
Rule
Rukia?
34.
so your best friend, it's down to just Orihime and the transforming doll. Okay.
Okay.
How would you save Rukia in this situation? What are your tools? What are you gonna do?
You kill her yourself. Take the kill from the other person.
Okay, yeah, great guess.
That's the way to go.
Who's there? Is Orihime?
Orihime and the transforming.
Oh,
Transform-
and 69 guy is there, but he, once again, I'm just gonna say they don't know what his powers is, so he does not do
can't even
anything.
remember
Is he
his
just
powers.
being held down or something?
He basically he's helping fight and like basically take aggro while like, they try to
okay.
figure out what to do.
got you.
So they save Rukia, okay, because
I really don't know.
Orihime runs up, hugs her,
Oh.
and then like
Something cashew.
heals her
I knew it.
heals her back.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So yeah, and the
Oh,
guy
I thought
was
that the
There's just so
winding
much.
fight. I thought we
There's
were
just
supposed
so
to-
much warmth there. You know.
And then he transforms into the two of them.
and like the
he
guy
hugs
was
them.
really
Suffocates
confused
her.
and was like, whatever. Now we cut over to Chad's fight. It's
Okay.
Chad,
Chad.
Ururu, and Nova, I believe is his name, which is
Oh,
the
the
mod
turtle
soul.
guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that is when Rengiku shows up to help them. They are fighting the old man Bount.
Got
Like
it.
he's the only one that
Baragon.
looks like Baragon, but white and
Baragon.
crotchety. So he basically sits on a throne, and his Bount or his doll is a whale. So it's very like Old Man in the Sea, where like it goes under the ground and it comes up.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
his power is like if it swallows you, it has its own pocket dimension that he takes you to.
Oh, that's
Also-
It was kinda cool.
sick.
It was
It's
Yeah.
like it's a Pinocchio
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Hey!
And at this point, I marked this down. Episode 86.
Oh,
I
wow.
swear to God, they changed Chad's voice actor.
No.
Okay? They change it. And I did a little bit of Googling, and the internet is torn.
Oh,
Completely
they don't
torn.
know.
Some people say they changed it. Some people say it's the same guy, and he just didn't talk very much. I am firmly on the side of they changed it.
Did you check?
Can we insert the X Files?
They have the one guy listed. They have the one guy listed as like he's been the voice actor all the way through, but there's no way it's so different.
Wow.
But you get used to it. Like I'm in the episode I'm at
Does
now.
he just do a good job where it's like, okay,
Yeah, well, in the episode I'm at now, I'm used to it. But it's so clear as day in episode 86 where that's different.
is it like the
Damn.
Uncle Iroh thing?
Yeah.
Sam
Oh,
literally
okay,
dropped
so
his
it's literally-
fucking weight.
It is like
Episode
Uncle Iroh.
86. What the
Okay.
fuck?
Yeah. It was brutal. So Ururu gets swallowed by the whale. She basically gives her life to save Chad because Chad was slacking, and so she pushes Chad
Damn
out of
it,
the way.
Chad, get your devil arm. She's
the
the
little girl from Urahara shop.
With the rocket launcher?
Yes. And her last words are, "I'm glad you're safe. That's all that matters." And she gets sucked into the well. She's a great character. She's really fantastic.
Jinta and Ururu.
Hello, Cain!
So,
Cain!
Cain came back. He wasn't ready.
Their next game plan for how to take care of this whale is like, yo, we have Nova. He can kind of do the same thing. Like, he kind of opens up the pocket dimensions. Let's force the whale into Nova's thing, and then once he's inside of Nova's dimension, Nova can like pick and choose. Like, he basically owns the lot. You know?
You're my whale now.
Yeah.
So he puts a whale inside of another whale.
So,
wow.
You know, Nova is like, yeah, that's great, because Urahara created us just for just defeating the Bounts. So that's their only purpose that Urahara created them for, apparently. And that's when we kind of cut away from that. I don't know if I ever say what happens at the end of that fight, but I'll go ahead and tell you right now. It doesn't work. He breaks out.
What?
But they eventually end up hitting the whale hard enough, and it spits out Ururu, and then the guy just bounces.
So Chad just like...
Yeah, they do like some combo attack, and they punch him, and they spit out Ururu.
Success!
Yeah. And
I forgot she's there. Did she use her Heineko?
Yeah, because they you know, so, because, I don't know if you guys remember, Izuru and Renji, they fought.
Yes,
and so we saw both of their Shikais in the same fight, so we know both of theirs, so they're both here.
Okay, cool.
So that's she does use Heineko, but it's like, it doesn't do anything because he could just suck it up. It's like, it's stupid. So we go into someone breaks into the Soul Society. Okay. And they're completely invisible, and they fight with Ikaku, but they're like invisible. So it's like a quick, like Ikaku's chasing him. He attacks him a couple times, and then he dips. And it's
I
like,
would love this fight. I know I would.
Ikaku would look so funny going.
It's not very long. It is not a very long fight. So we cut over to Ichigo tells Urahara and that even though he can't use his Bankai, he feels like he can win against the Bounts, which is weird because I don't even remember he was depressed last time. Remember?
Yeah.
He was depressed, didn't think he could do it, and now all of a sudden he's like, you know, even though for some reason they don't ever say that he can't use his Bankai, he feels like he could win.
So I wonder, was it released weekly?
Yeah.
Well, no, there's no way they could have changed it in that time. But could you imagine the amount of hate you get? Be like, you made him depressed. Like, why?
Yeah, he just wanted to be emo for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Or it could be the guy that transforms into other people, gets their powers, and he's just like, I'm going to make everyone believe that Ichigo's actually having a good day.
You never know. Inception level. We just go further. So we cut forward a little bit more, and now we're with Yamamoto, and they're having a captain's meeting because they're like, yo, shit's happening. Someone broke in, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And Yamamoto states that out of the 4 great noble houses, it's the Kuchiki house that is put in charge of compiling and protecting Soul Society history.
So they're the bookkeepers?
Yeah. They're the bookkeepers.
Kuchiki, is that?
Yeah, that's Yakuya's family.
Yeah, okay.
They are in charge of like compiling history and like keeping it safe.
Okay.
Which I have never heard of ever. And I was just like, wow.
Useless. What?
was like, that's interesting.
Fucking
because
bookworms.
There isn't a whole lot of history. Well, it's Soul Society.
It's Soul Society.
Yeah, so part of the side setup that is happening here is they try to get information on the Bounts from the research lab computer, but it's locked out. So
classic.
They can't figure it out. Mayuri's pissed. And that's when they call the meeting. They're like, hey, you know, the Kuchiki family, you guys keep the hard records, basically. It's like, you guys have got to have
Go look in the scrolls.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. And then we find out Uryu ducked off somewhere to go and get his fucking Quincy powers back again.
Ooh.
So let's remember, Urahara told him, hey, they probably really want your powers back, but, you know, you do you. And Uryu's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he's training. He's not having much luck here. He's really not. And that's where Nemu appears before him.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about her.
She basically appears, and I don't think you find out till later, but she basically gives him like a new like kind of bracelet gauntlet thing that will help him out.
Cool.
She's got a cool character design. Short
so
skirt.
The main Ichigo squad, which is
Chad,
Orihime,
yeah.
They go into the Bount hideout cave.
Oh, classic.
Because the lieutenants have found it.
Not a
That's
castle?
where fucking Vice or one of the guys from Kenpachi Squad, they found it.
Oh, no.
Yumichika. He found it. That's what he was doing the whole time. That's how they wrote him off. And he's like, yeah, it's in here. The lieutenants get their asses handed to them.
Oh,
wow.
Pretty promptly. And that's when the main Ichigo squad shows up. And they're like, yeah, we'll go in after them.
We can take them.
Rangiku basically, so they get fucked on as well. It's not a good showing for the main squad here. They get fucked on pretty quickly, and Rangiku comes back out and saves them. Is like, listen, there's these eyes that are attacking you. They create shadows. You need to destroy anything that can make a shadow, because from the shadows that these lights cast is where this guy's doll comes out of, which is weird. Because I just want to remind everybody, I did say a cave. So
yeah, it should be
the
dark.
whole thing is a shadow.
Yep.
But I guess the way the doll works is it's only because he has floating eyeballs and they like shoot light. Only the light, which is created from the eyeballs, is where his doll can come out of, which just seems like a fucking horrible doll. I would hate having that one.
But it's always going to show up behind you.
So that is something that comes up later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My next notes here is they forget their bodies can cast shadows.
Oh,
because
no! Cain!
That's what happened to Cain.
He died for nothing. They flash back to Cain for nothing.
Because they destroy all kinds of rocks and stuff. They're like, oh, yeah, we beat him. And then the guy's like, yeah, you guys cast shadows. Hello, are you retarded?
Well, bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah. But, once again, this is the...
So he decides.
It's not a very smart squad. Let's just all agree that it's not a very smart squad.
Because they get smarter. They're not that they get stronger in Hueco Mundo. They just get smarter, right?
So, and this is minus Ishida, who is the brains.
Yeah, that's true. There you go.
That's right.
So we cut back to Ishida speaking
Chad's
of him.
just muscle.
Yes. And
Or
that's
Nimu's
when
just
we find
boobs.
out, as I mentioned earlier, Nimu gives him a Quincy artifact. And it's
She just
basically
happened to have
like
it?
a silver wristband. Well, she was specifically given it from Mayuri.
Okay.
He was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to stir the pot a little bit. Go give this to...
Yeah.
What a fun
Mayuri, that guy.
He's one of the fun characters.
Yeah, he is great. He is great. So Wabisuke guy, we're coming back to the cave. He carries the fight hard against the Glasses Bount guy because once again, he is one of the only people whose powers we actually know.
Yeah.
So he gets used a lot. And it's a pretty good power to double the weight anytime you hit it. That's
really
pretty much useful against everybody.
Yep.
So carries it by far. Then we find out that the Zaraki style is 1v1. Okay?
With one arm.
Then it doesn't say anything about one arm, Jose. Okay, so maybe that'll come later. But they mentioned the Zaraki squad is 1v1, and anybody who has ever been in the Zaraki squad carries that spirit with them forever. So there's a part where Renji's like, hey, I'll take this guy. And if you guys forgot, he used to be in the Zaraki squad.
Yeah, he was in the Zaraki squad, yeah.
So,
I thought Yumichiko was just going to fucking sack himself.
no, Yumichika is the one, like, Ichigo wants to help him. He's like, no. He's like, this is Rocky style, So basically, fast forward, Shadow Glasses guy, who's the guy controlling the eyes around, and he's basically playing it like a board game. He gets wrecked pretty quick.
Renji?
Yeah, Renji wrecks him.
Renji stepped in.
His bounce starts going out of control, and it just so happens to destroy the wall that he's hiding behind and controlling everything. Just so happens.
Wow.
Oof, he did not do a good dice roll.
No, it was probably a nat one. And at that point, Kariya rings him up, who he's really just further in the cave, but he like dials him up. And he's like, hey, it's been good. Fuck you.
And then explosions.
And leaves him. Just fucking leaves him.
Leaves him behind.
What a dick. He saw all that.
Yeah.
What the
So he's just like, yeah.
Cain!
He's like, hey, thanks for the distraction. Have a good one. And he leaves him. And now we find out we're going to the main setup of the Bounts here. Ichigo goes forward by himself. He's like, you need to go confront them. He confronts the main Bounts. They're all hanging out in their giant mass cave. And that's when we find out Bounts who have absorbed enough souls can manipulate space itself.
Whoa.
And Kariya has been able to do this for a while.
What a guy. And he's probably fed on a few more.
Yeah.
He's a little too OP now.
Wait, you know what? I'm almost certain Uryu's going to show up now.
Well, let's see what happens.
He would almost be warped
there is a
out.
fight that happens, but it's between Ichigo and Kariya again.
Wow.
And
Does he
Ichigo
Bankai?
gets his ass handed to him again.
Bankai?
It checks. It's like the math never
Remember,
really got
he said if he went Bankai, he would win.
No, he said he thinks he could win without Bankai.
Never
Yeah.
mind.
He was saying he thinks he could win.
Why? So is there a point why he doesn't have Bankai?
Well, you know what? That's a great question because in this fight, Kariya asked Ichigo that himself.
Oh, yeah. Oh!
He's like,
Calling the beast out.
he's like, why haven't you used his Bankai? And he's got Ichigo's like crawling on the floor beating his shit. And Kariya's like, what are you doing? Why haven't you used your Bankai? And he tells him, he's like, go get your Zanbakuto and go Bankai. And so he starts crawling for it, and then Kariya he gets close and he kicks the sword.
What a lad.
This is Sam.
He just fucking
Kariya
toyed
is
with him
Sam.
so
Sam is
hard.
about. Sam is the Bount.
And then they do the classic bad guy thing where they've got Ichigo defeated. It's game over. And Kariya's like, it would be a shame for you to die not knowing what this is about. So let me tell you.
Oh,
The monologuing.
Exposition.
Yes.
Is anyone else watching? You know who you are. Exposition. They always tell.
Here we go. Connecting the world with Hueco Mundo is what we thought what their game plan was.
Oh!
But
That's what they've been preaching this whole time. But you find out that explanation is something that Soul Society just made up because they couldn't actually figure out what their plan was, so they just fucking
they're just
made,
they're
it's this one.
It's this one.
It's this
Dude,
one.
I'm starting to hate Soul Society. They are a
They
bunch
get
of
a
yeehaws.
bad rap. They get a real bad rap.
fucking yahoos.
And surprise, surprise, they're going to Soul Society because they're going to extract their revenge because you find out they created the Bounts.
What?
Soul Society created the Bounts. And that's why the Bounts, they have made a Senkaimon portal, which is, that's what they have in their little cave. And so they're going to go to the Soul Society. And he basically tells Ichigo all of that. And we get a little bit of history here.
Oh.
And this is obviously, let me reiterate, from Kariya's point of view.
Oh.
So it's kind of like if we were taking history from Hitler.
We're literally going to go back, and it's just going to be a lot of bloodshed. We're going to fully associate ourselves with this guy.
So long ago, Soul Society did a series of experiments. And that's when they thought back in the day of humans as more of lab rats. Like they would kind of test, and they weren't great people. The experiment went wrong, and something exploded. Okay.
Oh, classic.
The particles from the explosion fused with souls that were in the cycle of rebirth, and then Bounts were made.
Wow.
So that's how they were made. And the Soul Reapers learned to Bounce. They offered them a hand, and then they were actually like, "Yeah, just kidding. We were trying to gather you guys all up so we could fuck you up." And that's how that went, according to Kariya. And he now states also, which I'm saying Bounts are pretty good because listen to this. Kariya says there's no limit to how strong a Bount can come because they can just keep feasting and just forever become stronger.
Yeah.
So they don't have a limit to like their ceiling, which you think Aizen should have just become a Bount. Okay? Because remember he was bitching? He was like, yeah, well, you hit a ceiling as a captain, as like a Shinigami. Yep. And the only way to break that is to go to the other side and become something else. Should have become a Bount.
And done all three.
We could have solved that really quick.
Yeah.
So then Kariya tries to kill Ichigo with his own sword as well. So Koga and Kariya have both tried this method of killing Ichigo with his own sword. Ichigo then takes the sword, stabs himself with it.
Oh, classic.
So that he can go see Zangetsu inside of himself. So,
wait, didn't he do that to Koga?
No,
he was about to die.
He went Ichigo in that.
He went Ichigo.
This time he actually stabbed himself because he's like, Zangetsu.
He's like,
why
hey, welcome
are you
in.
talking to me? And then so Zangetsu, they go to their fucking sideways world.
Was he pouting?
He wasn't. There wasn't any rain or anything. They just had a normal talk, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm always with you. What are you doing?" It's pretty much
Why would you kill yourself?
Pretty much the reiteration of that. And at that point, that is when Ichigo goes Bankai. He talks to Zangetsu. He's like, "Yeah, you could always do it. Here you go." And he goes Bankai. He fights Kariya for a little bit, and then wouldn't you fucking know it, Ishida shows up.
So wait, hold up. Was Ichigo kind of winning?
No.
No,
he was
still
not.
no.
Oh.
It was even at best, and that's me being generous to Ichigo.
Oh, yo.
So Ishida shows up and shoots them and basically like separates them, and he's repping a new look, and it is ugly as fuck. I don't have a picture to show you guys, but it is a filler outfit and it looks disgusting.
Oh no.
Is it the dress looking thing?
I couldn't tell you, Jose, but it's gross. Ishida then shoots an arrow through their portal, their Senkaimon, thus completing the portal for them.
Oh, what a
he's like,
fucking idiot.
he makes it look like he's shooting at Kariya. He shoots it right past him and makes the portal for him. And
he planned it though, right?
He planned it. Ishida planned it.
Ishida planned it.
Well, obviously, Jose, he didn't just fucking blind fire and went through
yeet
the
it?
portal.
That's something we would do though.
So
I got it. Oh,
you didn't.
That's part
you
of
didn't
the
roll
plan.
high enough.
So yeah, he did it on purpose. Ishida did it on purpose. And you find out that Bounts can't actually do reishi conversion, so like they wouldn't have been able to get there themselves. So that's why they needed a special Quincy with that power to make it into the Soul Society, and that was Ishida.
Okay.
And they planned the whole thing, knew he'd be coming, knew he would do it, and they were just waiting for him.
So hey, shoot me! I'm right in front of this door. Oops.
In Ishida's mind, Jose, he did it so he can defeat the Bounce over in Soul Society because he is much stronger over in Soul Society, as we saw when
he can absorb the particles.
He can absorb the particles. And this is when Yoruichi shows up, and he's like, and she's like, "Oh shit, what I miss?" And so Nemu told Ishida that the tool that he uses gathers reishi around him and basically uses it to like substitute his Quincy powers and help him out.
Oh, okay.
But it's really weak in the human world. Nemu tells him this, so Nemu kind of planted this seed.
Inception.
Nemu is like, hey, it's really weak in the human world, but in the Soul Society, it would be different. You should check it out.
It's almost
wink,
like
wink.
we could have just asked any other captain we had in this world to fucking do this.
Yes, you're right. That is a big flaw, but but we're not there yet. So, kind of a good plan. Like, yeah, I'm going to let him go to the Soul Society. There's a lot of strong people there, and also I'm stronger there. So I'm going to fuck him hard.
Okay,
And-
I'm starting to identify hard with Ishida. Like, I could do it.
Yeah. I think you would identify hard here because this is when Yoruichi comes in and calls him a dumbass.
Hey, I have not spoken too soon. This
Because
is classic.
Bounce also becomes stronger in
Hi-ya!
the Soul Society because they can also absorb all of the reishi like
Hey!
and they basically take it from everything all around them in the Soul Society, just
Hello,
like Ishida
darkness,
did when he
my old
broke his
friend.
fucking wristband.
Hello, darkness.
So, So Kariya and Koga, they land together in Soul Society. They basically open a portal above Soul Society, and they kind of like all split. Kariya and Koga land together because they're like the two main ones, and they immediately fight Soifon's vice captain and Komamuru's vice captain.
Dude. Who's the Komaru?
The proper guy. Like I don't know how to explain it.
He
has sunglasses. Yeah. They immediately fight them, and let it be known they immediately destroy the both of them. Like just Koga fights both of them and destroys both of them.
Do you know why though? It's because they absorb all the reishi around them.
They were probably eating up the walls and shit. You know, they're all made out of reishi.
So we get a nice scene after that where Rukia and Ichigo have both entered Soul Society again, and they kind of like start reminiscing, like, "Oh, we're
remember when you almost died?"
Yeah, it's kind of like I can't believe we're back here again.
Yeah,
like that's a little weird. So the Yoruichi and the girl mod, they basically both like, hey, can you guys stop being romantic over there and like move on? And they call them out, and the little girl mod still gets kind of like jealous. Is kind of what the feel you get. And she's like, you guys are only supposed to be friends. What are you doing? It's like it was really good.
Plot development.
Yeah, it was really good. They immediately go to try and find Kukaku, which I'm all for seeing more of her, and they want to stay at her place while they're there. Yoruichi says everybody needs to watch for and search for a person named Ron Tao, who was the lead researcher during the time the Bounts were created.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, find any information you can on Ron Tao. That's going to be huge.
And then you find out Ron Tao was just another name for Mayuri. He's like, I just wanted to meme, boys.
I fooled you all along. So Kukaku says, like, they all go to leave and like, hey, thanks for letting us stay here. And she asks Yoruichi to stay behind. And she's like, yeah, do you want to tell me something? And so Yoruichi's like, okay, yeah, you got me.
Oh.
So she says that the reason they want to stay there is because she knows that of the Soul Reaper Ichinose, which is just Maki.
Maki, yeah.
He's on the Bount side, and that he has the ability to be invisible and has broken into Soul Society before. So he was the one
who was fucking with.
He broke in, fought Kukaku, and you find out he was also. They believe he was the one to also lock the data for Mayuri.
Oh.
And so you kind of get this hint of it was all set up from the start. Like they locked the data, so Mayuri would be interested in it. Then that would lead to him wanting to give Ishida his powers back so he could like sway the battle.
Genius level thinking. That's a 400
quadruple
IQ.
Outplayed, yeah.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. So Rukia, they all get ready to go leave, and like there's a new day, we're gonna go search out for information. She's like, well, we're back in Soul Society, so I kind of have to go back and report to my squad. Like,
oh come on!
So she's going to Ukitaki's?
Sorry, yeah. And then Ishida runs off by himself. Girl Modsol gets jealous of Ichigo giving Rukia like a goodbye, and she also goes by herself. So everybody just immediately fucking dips. It all gets fucked.
Have they learned nothing from splitting the
They
party?
learned nothing.
They don't learn. Remember, they're still
Oh,
strong.
yeah.
They're just
And it's like they all split off, and you see Rukia. She starts going through like the poor part of town where she grew up. She immediately runs into fucking girl Bount with a sword in the fan again.
Oh my god!
And it's like, well, here we fucking go. To be continued. And that's where these 10 episodes end. Rukia is about to fight the sword bitch, who she is now stronger in Soul Society, and she had already wrecked them 1v3 in the real world.
But she's got something to protect, so she'll be able to, like,
Yeah.
She does not have anything to protect Jose because she is by herself. Let's not forget.
That's
it's
her
Rukia.
hometown. That's where she grew up.
Yeah.
That's the slum she was
fuck
at.
my street up, homeboy. Girl.
So and in case you guys weren't, that was the end of season 4 of Bleach. Season 5 begins right when they enter Soul Society. So we've entered into season 5 of Bleach.
I was like, that's a weird place
to
end on
season 4 is them entering Soul Society is the very end. Season 5 starts when they enter, and now they're like fucking around with Soul Society. And it gets pretty good. I'm a few episodes past where this already, and I do like where it's at.
Okay.
So I'm having a good time in this Bount arc. I think it's been pretty good. I think the part where they're in the real world is a little long.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone 2 episodes almost.
So from what I can see, of like, because I'm watching on Netflix, they only have up to the 5th season. So it's kind of bad news bears if you wanted to watch Bleach and you're like, oh, I'll just watch on Netflix. They only have up to the end of the Bount arc. So
I think
it's like
Hulu has it all.
I do think Hulu has it all. So you would like watch all of it and be like, oh, it's like, is that where it ends? Like the Bount arc? It's like that would be a bad taste in your mouth.
That's the confirmed reason why they hate the Bount arc, because that's where it ends.
And I want to make a correction on stuff that we talked about before. I have a correction to make.
Okay.
Corrections.
So we brought up multiple times that when they talk about the previous Kenpachi, they refer to him as a he. And it's like, that does not make any sense. Whatever. So the Kenpachi that we know is the 11th Kenpachi.
Yes.
The Kenpachi that he killed is the 10th Kenpachi, obviously. That is actually a dude. That is not Unohana.
Oh.
It is not. And that is the captain of Maki or Ichinose. That is who he liked, and he's pissed that Kenpachi killed him. The character's name is Kenpachi Kagano or Kanganjo or something. That is the person that Kenpachi killed. It is not Unohana.
So Unohana was the 9th.
Unohana was the first Kenpachi, the founding member of the Serete. Like she was sought after by the captain commander because apparently, do you remember what she was before she joined?
Psycho.
Like she was like a crazy, like she was just
serial
slaying
killer.
everything. Yeah,
serial killer. And the captain commander went out and found her and wanted her for the founding of this.
So
society.
she traded her life of murder for healing.
Well, they talk about that. I'm gonna spoil 1,000 Year Blood Work here a little bit.
Welcome.
Spoiler at the front, but I just want to give a heads up. She basically gave up the title of Kenpachi when she actually met regular the Zaraki Kenpachi that we know.
Oh, so she just gave it up?
She met him when he was very young.
Yes.
And he attacked her.
It was the first time to cut her.
Yeah, and she was like, oh, shit, he is the real Kenpachi.
Okay.
So that's when she kind of was like, I'm going to go and switch over to
south,
healing.
Don't want to die just
yet. She took
yet.
a different name. She did the whole smorgasbord, and she became the Force Squad captain. And then there's been many iterations of the Kenpachi title since then because ours is the 11th.
So the second one just kind of popped up out of nowhere then?
I don't know how they decided that.
Unahana's kind of a dick.
Because
she's like, that's the real Kenpachi Zaraki.
I'm just going to wait till he gets older.
I'm sure... I get what you're saying.
And then she's just like, hey, second one, just for a little bit.
But they probably very easily could have been like, okay, we're going to hold a big tournament. Whoever's the strongest gets to be Kenpachi.
Oh, she's gone. We got to have some. Okay,
that could have been so easily done.
Yeah.
And they only show, so because I was trying to figure out because they kept hammering it's a he. And I was like, is it a he? So I finally looked it up. I'm like, Unohana is like, let's fucking get this thing under. And she's the first. And the 10th guy, they show all of one time in like
interesting.
a slight panel. Is all I saw. He does not get shown much. You don't really see. You see his face, and that's about it.
Does he have any escapades or anything like that?
No, I don't think he does anything. I think he gets shown one time
and
just gets yeah.
And it's just a part of the flashback when they're fighting, when Unohana and Zaraki are fighting.
That is cool. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that has been a huge fucking thing.
So, because I thought for the longest time I was like, why do they keep calling Unohana a he? But it's like there's
now that makes sense.
The mix-up that was happening is they do fight in the 1,000 Year Blood War arc. Mm-hmm. And he does kill her in the 1,000 Year Blood War.
To unlock
but
his
he
true
is
power.
not the one that kills her when she was captain or gets rid of her.
Yeah.
He had nothing to do with that.
Got you.
Interesting. Well, that's all
that
cool.
That would make sense because she is still a person alive and everything, and he's a captain at the same time. So, okay, that does make sense.
And he would have known that it was Unohana.
But I think they were always like rivals, but he had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And he didn't know that was her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Also, what the fuck? Because you told us earlier that Soul Society was fucking around with humans.
Mm-hmm.
And they made Bounts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
scumbag move. There's a lot of other stuff they've scumbagged. Also, Captain Commander seeks out the fucking #1 murderer in the world and was like, hey, you seem like a cool person.
Listen,
let's come together.
If you're making a strong gang, that would be #1.
Strong gang. They're a gang.
Yeah, but they said that.
Well, I mean,
they say that. They say the origins of it where they were a fucking like group of marauders, basically. And they were like, and until eventually Yamamoto came by, I was like, no, I'm going to make this like a fucking solid thing.
You're my homies now.
Because I think even in the 1,000 Year Blood War arc that gets brought up, like Yu Huwak or whatever the fuck his name is, he basically was like, what happened to Yamamoto? He used to be the man. Like, he used to be a fucked up guy.
Yeah.
And then, that doesn't end well. So,
I don't remember the rest of it, but that's the sword name.
It is a long boy.
But I'm glad, going back to what we're talking, I'm glad we are officially in Soul Society now.
Yeah.
Because that is going to be...
Because it's going to escalate. Yeah, it's going to escalate.
That's going to be so much more fun. They're going to, like, run into the other captains. More people are going to be involved.
You're going to see your boy Zaraki.
Yeah, and it's
Kenpachi.
Zaraki's probably either going to run into Ichinose at some point because they have history, and it probably
He's going to murder him.
It won't end well with for Ichinose. They're kind of setting up that's... Kenpachi's not interested, but we'll see.
Kenpachi might just murder him.
That's kind of all I have to say about this one. I'm glad we're in Soul Society. That's all. Yeah. Because I liked the beginning of the Bount arc where it was like a lot more comedy. That was a lot of fun. But the more heavy stuff, like I could have been done after they were done with the original mansion raid. Like last time. Like if they went straight from that to their entering the Soul Society, we're Gucci. But then they drag on a whole cave fight thing and
You didn't realize your body creates a shadow.
Yeah, it goes on a little long, but it's like now we're in the Soul Society, and I'm happy to be here.
Don't look. There's a shadow there, dude.
Yeah, we'd be fucked. We'd be absolutely fucked. A bonus entry here. I'm not gonna really talk about it for long, but the first chapter, Burn the Witch, came out. The official serialized one. So they did the one shot a while ago, and the first of 5 or 4 chapters is now out.
Okay, so you can now read that on Jump.
And it is very much, I would recommend reading the one shot first.
Okay, so you need the one shot and then
read the one shot first, then read this. I thought it was good. It was a good setup. I made a funny joke about it on Twitter. So if you want to know a little bit more of my thoughts, check it out there.
Okay. At the Otaku, correct?
At the Otaku. Yeah, so follow us on Twitter and Instagram are the 2 ones that we're really actually active on. And it's both at the Otaku is where you'll find us. That'll be the easiest way to get in contact with us, aside from the comments on the video.
Yep.
So thanks for watching, unless you guys have anything else to say.
I love
super
Bleach.
happy.
So we're getting in. I think we're past a lot of the history lesson parts.
Okay. Now we're going straight into the fighting.
We're moving into the big climax of the Bounts versus Soul Society.
No, I think we meet Abel in the next episode. That's Kariya's.
I don't think there's an Abel. So I am pretty confident saying there's no Abel. So thanks for watching. That has been the official Bount Season 4 ending. So we're done with Season 4, moving into Season 5. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment. I would love to know, people watching this, does this change your opinion on the Bount arc at all? Because it has a horrible reputation. Horrible. So I would recommend give it another watch.
Yeah.
Just for funsies. Watch it, see what you think. If you have just nothing but time, or if you need something to have on the background, throw on the Bount arc and just see. Because I think there is some merits to this arc, but there is there's some poop in the ice cream. So,
I think it.
What
is that a phrase?
Because a little bit of poop in the ice cream ruins the whole thing.
A little poop in any edible item is gonna ruin the whole
point.
Thing.
Yeah, it's just
a good point. Solid point. Be working on something for you tonight.
Okay.
Don't eat the grilled cheese tonight.
I don't eat anything he makes. So we'll see you guys next time.